happy Marketing Monday. This is totally an impromptu Marketing Monday, and so it's going to be a little bit different than usual. I am currently at the American Sign Museum in Cincinnati, and I'm looking at all the different signs, and I'm so excited to share these with you. So I'm going to be putting some B-roll over this and going through and just showing you how far we've come in the way of sign technology. Let's go.
The American Sign Museum is dedicated to the art and history of commercial signs and sign making. The museum is one of the largest public museums dedicated to signs in the United States. It covers more than 100 years of American sign history in about a 20,000 square foot space. It's really cool because it shows the technology and the design. The coolest part of the museum is Main Street USA, which is dedicated to recreating the Main Street at which many towns had during the 1950s and 60s with shop windows and full lights of designs. It's a very cool museum if you're a marketer, if you are anyone who's interested in sign technology.
If you look right here, these are some of the oldest signs inside of the museum. They talk about how originally a lot of these signs were hand carved, and a lot of them are not available or around anymore because of how wood deteriorates. But as we got further into the light sign era and our pre-neon and post-neon eras, we started to see how the letters changed, and we were able to keep a better record of them. Right here, these are Optum glass letters. These opal glass letters are slump molds of opal glass, and they were manufactured in Buffalo, New York. And it's so cool just to see how far we've come with all the different lettering here.
This was definitely one of my favorite parts of the museum because it looks at the art of movie
For
posters.
Willie Nelson and the family, you can see the cutout of Willie Nelson. It's very cool. And then as we look here, you can actually see on this movie poster the individual lines and the brush strokes, which is incredible. I mean, this was truly an art, and these artists, if they wanted to create multiple signs for multiple theaters, they had to go through and hand paint each and every one of the movie posters.
As we move out of the movie poster portion of the museum, we start to see the glass sign portion. So these signs exemplify a technique that is called chipped glue glass, and it is hand blended and split dropped into shades. The cabinets that were on the bottom here display the materials used by salesmen and the samples. But what's really cool is these were used in the late 1800s into the early 1900s as a way to give banks and pharmacies and other locations a little bit of flair.
We move out of the wood letters to the plastic and metal letters to our neon letters. We're moving into this plastic era. And this plastic era is commonly referred to as like the era of the big signs. So we have right here, this is the big boy, and he was created during the plastic era. Something really interesting about the big boy statue is that you'll notice his shoes are different from the one that you see today, and in the chain. And then he also has a different hair color. Usually it's black. It's red here. He's a little bit chubbier than the current big boy. And then also you'll notice in the back pocket he has a slingshot, which was supposed to symbolize fun, but as slingshots became more looked at as weapons, they slowly got rid of the slingshot in the back pocket. But yeah, there's some fun facts about the big boy. Now we're gonna travel into the pre-neon, and you have the light bulb era where you see all these awesome signs everybody is always waiting for, which is the early neon, and these are going to be your pure gasoline. These are very typical of the 1930s. They are Art Deco signs that featured a ripple tin cabinet and intricate neon ribbing or ribbon, and they are a lot of them were designed actually in Buffalo, New York, which is very cool. It just comes to show how quickly these gained traction, because these are the signs that we all know today. And once we're through the neon era, as I said, we end up into the plastic era, and you have these very, very cool, larger than life signs that incorporate your neon. You have, the signs that we all know, like the Gulf sign and the Shell sign, but then you also have your Colonel Sanders here in this plastic era, and then the combination of plastic and neon.
The Satellite Shoplin sign hails from Anaheim, California. It's from the 1960s, and it was designed after the space craze with the launch of Sputnik in 1957. Once the sign was designed, it stayed there until the 1990s and was taken down with the growth of Disneyland. They
have one of the original McDonald's Golden Arches sign, and actually this sign was going to be destroyed or taken down from its original home. And the Sign Museum, instead of having it sent to Johnstown, where actually the home of the Big Mac Museum is, they brought it here to the American Sign Museum to be a part of what is now called the American Main Street. So we have not only the Big Mac sign, but we also have here this rotating car sign. I'll give you a better look from the other side. And all of these other neon lights that really show the historic America and that art of signing. I think it's very cool how all of the signs kind of tell you through pictures and animation what the products are, and I think that's an art that we've kind of gotten away from in our modern logos and our sleek design. A closer look at those cars going around. The globe here is made with sheet metal and the cars are neon. It was originally to identify an auto painting franchise, and it sat for years above the LA freeway. And you can see there's some bullet holes in it from entry and exit points, which is really interesting to see the detail and know kind of the history. So if you look around, maybe you'll see some of those little bullet holes that come through. Crazy whenever you think about how quickly we are able to produce signs and print things nowadays. If you look at each of these signs, you can tell that these letters were hand carved out. You have the neon tubing that had to be put around it. Up here we have another Pepto-Bismol sign which has the neon. If you look closely at the Pepto-Bismol, you can see that this was hand drawn. It's crazy to think about how often we take for granted the amount of time and artistry that goes into making signs, and then top with that off with how easy it is in our modern process to just print. And we have AI to take people out, we have AI to draw, but really this was an art form. This has to be one of my favorite signs. If you look at it, it's from the 1950s and it utilizes a spinner motion to attract passers-by. It was manufactured in Ohio by the Ohio Advertising Display Company. I just think it's one of the coolest signs here. Looking for a way to advertise your business? This card appears 1,440 times daily. Because it's an electric clock, it will attract everyone. Isn't it crazy, the ingenuity in advertising and how far we've really come? I think this is great because it really shows the utilization of every space. If you've ever wondered where all the old Arby's signs have gone, here it is.
Thank you for coming with me to the American Sign Museum. As always, I hope you have a fabulous week and a marvelous Marketing Monday. If you want to see more about the American Sign Museum, you can find some links in the description of this video.